She's going for my coffee. No.
お前仲間になってくれや。俺の海賊船のコックに。
Sanji, you better start worrying. Luffy's decided you're gonna be part of his crew, and we all know how that ends. Oh no, he saw Nami.
他の何を差し置いても俺の料理をけなすのは許さねえぞ。
All of the other things are true, but a bad cook? How dare you? Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Yusei, and today we're continuing One Piece. Last week we had one of the better episodes so far, I believe. The one with Zoro's backstory. Quite an emotional episode, going a little bit into why Zoro trained so hard and why he wants to become the best swordsman. So Kuina also wants to become the greatest swordsman, but I think the emotional part of the episode was a combination of, well, her frustration at, I believe, well, the sexism in the world, where she's automatically believed to not be able to become the greatest swordsman due to her strength. But, well, I think that's a very common thing to, well, first off, to as a woman not being able to be as strong as a man, which is not true, of course. But there is a level of frustration there because you do have to work harder. The progress is slower, but also the equation to her of her strength to her skill as a swordsman, while those are two different things. And I do like how they had Zoro and her kind of develop a sort of rivalry in which they both pushed each other to work harder, where the fact that Zoro was improving pushed her to want to improve more. But then also her sudden death at the end, and Zoro taking her sword and striving to be the greatest swordsman to fulfill their promise that one of them was going to be the greatest swordsman, and the fact that she died means she can't, so Zoro has to do that. Yeah, and as someone who's been going to the gym trying to get strong myself, I definitely think her frustration at this sort of setback is very understandable, but also Zoro's speech to her, calling out the bullshit and being like, that doesn't matter because your skill is my goal right now, so you just make sure you improve as well. You'll just have to work harder and you'll get there yourself. I do really like that little message. Some just thinking back to that episode, I think, in my opinion, it is up till now one of the better episodes, and it is also, from what I've seen, which is, I believe, the first 40 or so episodes is what I've seen, it was one of my favorites. It's one that was definitely quite strong in my memory still. Then the episode after, obviously, the introduction to Baratie, where right now Luffy has to negotiate his way out of having to deal with the broken roof, because he redirected the cannonball from the marine into the Baratie. I still think Luffy can make the case that it was the marine's fault, and that's also what Nami said, but we already know that he wants to take responsibility. So let's hop right in. Hopefully we'll get a little bit more of Sanji as well. So it's time for episode 21 of One Piece. Unwelcome customer, Sanji's food, and Gin's debt.
お客様は神様だ。もっともっとサービスもっと。サービスの基本は心地よい挨拶。
As someone who has worked as a barista and who's had to deal with customers and like customer service, the customer is always right in matters of taste. The customer is definitely not always right in everything else.
ヘボイも恐れ入ります。一番ベリー入ります。ざまありますね。
I love that this guy is practicing his lines in the mirror.
お客様。 たかてめえサンジ、お客様に何してやがる。
客がどうした。こいつは大切な食い物を粗末にした上にコックを侮辱しやがった。
Completely deserved it.
潰してやる。すぐに政府に連絡を取って。
じゃあここで息の根を止めとかなきゃな。やがった勘違い野郎、見るとよ。
やめろ、やりすぎだサンジ。
I think they should let Sanji at this guy. He's got quite a temper, Sanji. Oh boy. Oh right! They were not just negotiating. Zeff is actively beating Luffy up. That he broke himself. That Luffy didn't do that.
おっさんが壊したんだろ。
Good job, Luffy. At least he stood up for himself there.
サンジ、また店で暴れてやがんのか貴様。
うるせえなクソじじい。
Again?
考えや。てめえもだ。さっさと出ていかねえ。
まるで海賊船じゃねえか。海賊クリークの手下を逃が
Pirate
してしまいま
Creek's
した。
underling. Huh, Pirate Creek.
だから3日前に捕まえた時すでに餓死寸前だったんだ。あれからも何も食わせてなかったんだぞ。この東の海で最強と言われる海賊団じゃねえか。申し訳。
It is already very telling. Before they've dropped little hints of saying like these cooks are crazy. Like even the owner acts like a gangster. So the moment the shot is fired and one of the Marines drops, everyone is running and screaming and hiding. And Sanji, Zeff, and Patty are all three of them just standing there looking like, the fuck's going on? They're not running and hiding, which already shows a little bit like what kind of place this restaurant is. This would be such a fun restaurant to go to, though.
お客様1名入りました。
また俺の店で暴れようってやからじゃねえだろうな。
海賊か。
Apparently part of the strongest pirate crew in the East Blue.
ここはレストランだろ。
いらっしゃいませ、イカ野郎。
もう一度しか言わねえからよく聞け。食い物を持ってこい。
お客様、ヘボイも恐れ入りますが、代金はお持ちで。
鉛でいいか。
金はないんですね。
Respect on Patty.
代金払えねえんなら客じゃねえじゃねえか。客じゃねえやつは消え失せろ。
Zeff was immediately following Sanji.
さあどうぞお客様ども、お食事をお続けください。
Little bow. Fun to see though that even though Sanji and Patty have very different standards on how to treat customers, as we saw earlier, where Patty got angry at Sanji for beating up Lieutenant Fullbody, Patty also does not take shit from crappy customers. Though, to be fair, in this case he said, you're not paying, so you're not a customer. So if he had been able to pay, maybe he would have taken crap from him. But at the same time, he did already like start by saying like he was smiling all nicely and welcoming him, but also immediately insulting him. So I guess they have different styles of serving, but they both, like both Sanji and Patty, don't take shit.
なあ、お前腹減ってんのか。
うるせえ。腹なんか減ってるもんか。
食え。
落ちぶれてもな、施しは受けねえんだよ俺は。とっととこの店下げろ。
しのごの言ってねえで食いやがれ。俺にとっちゃ誰でも腹減らしてるやつは客なんだよ。
悪いな、俺は客じゃね
え。Don't let your fucking pride kill you, dude.
海は広くて残酷だな。この海の上で食料や水を失うことがどれほどの恐怖か、どれほど辛いことか。腹減ったやつの気持ちは誰よりもわかるんだよ。誇りに死ぬも構わねえが、食って生き延びれば 見える明日もあるんじゃねえのか。
綿棒ねえ、綿棒ねえ、綿棒ねえ、死ぬかと思った。うめえよ、こんなにうめえ飯食ったのほら初めてだ。
クソうめえだろ。
いいコック見つけた。
I truly can't imagine how fucking good that food must taste if you've been starving. Just any food, how delicious it must be. I really like how they show it here. And also, Sanji, you better start worrying. Luffy's decided you're gonna be part of his crew, and we all know how that ends. We know how it ended with Zoro, we know how it ended with Nami, and with Usopp, so... I think it's time to start worrying.
お前仲間になってくれや。
あ
俺の海賊船のコックに。
あ
Nami's... Yeah. They're starting to be consistent now with the music and the wanted posters.
のオーナーはもともと名のある海賊団のコックでな。
へえ、あのおっさん海賊だったのか。
そのクソジジイにとってこのレストランは宝みてえなもんなんだ。その上あの男に憧れて集まったコックどもは全員海賊ばりに血の気の多いやつばっかり。まあ海賊も往来するこの場所にはうってつけのメンツなんだけどな。
ほんとめちゃめちゃ騒がしいもんなこの店。
I mean, it is perfect to have a group of cooks like that if you're gonna have marines and pirates and everyone who wants to fight.
おかげでバイトのウェイターたちはビビって全員逃げ出しちまった。
A little weird that the waiters are not also fighters like that, but it does explain why Sanji has to be a waiter even though he is a cook.
俺はこの店で働かなきゃいけねえ理由があるんだ。
やだ断る。
何がだ。
お前が断ることを
He
俺は断る。
refuses his refusal. Yeah, come on, Sanji. You haven't figured it out yet, but you do not stand a chance against Luffy's stubbornness. Sorry, Sanji, but it's not happening. Does not matter what the reason is. Well, if it's a reason Luffy respects, you might stand a chance, but there's not a lot of reasons Luffy will respect more than joining his crew, so...
理由ってなんだ。
おめえに言う必要はねえ。
今聞けって言っただろ。
俺が言ってんのは
麦わらをバカにするとぶっ飛ばすぞこの野郎。
話はってすまねえが、
なんだ。
俺はクリーク海賊団の銀ってものなんだが、
Gin of the Creek
あんたも
Pirates.
海賊なんだろ。目的はあんのか。
俺はワンピースを目指してる。グランドラインへ入るんだ。あ、こいつで5人目だ。
なんで俺が入んだよ。
そうか。なんかグランドラインについて知ってんのか。
いや、何も知らねえ。何もわからねえ。だからこそ怖いんだ。
And this is coming from one of Krieg's pirates, who are apparently the most fearsome in the East Blue. Now, the East Blue is the least dangerous, or the least... Is it the smallest or the least dangerous? I don't know, of the oceans. But it's still... This is guy's part of the crew that's apparently the most fearsome in the East Blue. So, there is some weight to it. Some weight to his fear of the Grand Line. But I do find it fun. I like that he says he doesn't understand it and that's why he fears it. So it's almost like, well, it's a fear of, has he been to the Grand Line? I don't know. Maybe we'll find out later if he's been to the Grand Line. But it's more of a fear of the unknown and a fear of something he doesn't know what to do with and he doesn't understand it. And that's such a, it's a lot more of, like your imagination starts to go wild about things you don't understand. While things you do understand, you can start rationalizing it and it becomes less scary. So it does lend some weight to this thing, this sort of unknowable thing called the Grand Line. how he describes it.
Don Krieg といや、この辺りの海じゃ最強最悪の海賊の名だぜ。
Strongest and most evil pirate as well. Not just the most fearsome, but the most evil one.
ってやつは50隻の海賊船の船長たちを統括する海賊艦隊のドンなんだからな。
50 ships. So is he only the most fearsome for the amount of ships? But I guess the amount of ships doesn't consist of more than 5,000 pirates. I mean, I guess having a crew that large would make you very strong and fearsome just out of sheer numbers. But I feel like having a large group of pirates follow you, or a large number of ships follow you, doesn't earn you the reputation of the most evil pirates. So he still must have done some shit to earn that title on top of just being very strong and having large numbers.
じゃあ、あの男にはおとなしくご馳走してやった方が良かったのかい？それじゃあ他のお客様に失礼だろうが。
Paddy's not wrong. Paddy's not wrong per se in that he should not have... I think he should not have treated him just for being part of the Don Krieg pirates and being scared of retaliation, because that is unfair to the other customers, and, you know, you shouldn't just give someone what they want out of fear that they're gonna do something to you. I'm not saying he should not have given him food, being that he was starving. I do think Sanji was right to give him food, since, you know, he was starving. But the reasoning for Paddy has nothing to do with the fact that he was starving. So I do think Paddy was right to do that.
おいバカども、さっさと働け。おいおい、ほら。
I guess they're all more scared of Zeff.
他人の俺にあんたの意志を止める権利はない。ただ忠告だけはしておきたかったんだ。
I like that. I like the way he said that. I really like that. Like, I'm a stranger to you. I have no right to stop you to do what you want, but I did want to warn you. That's such a it's such a respectful way to give someone advice not to do something.
悪いな。怒られるんだろ。俺なんかにただ飯食わせたから。な
怒られる理由と証拠がねえ。
Well, Luffy, get off your ass and start doing chores. Get your hands moving, Luffy.
あいつが副料理長やってることだけで胸くそ悪いんだ。
しょうがねえよ。あいつは店一番の古株なんだから。
おい雑用、てめえはさっきから一体何枚皿割ってんだ。
あ、悪い、食べるの忘れてた。まあ気にすんなよ。
Luffy, working in a kitchen, you do learn to get like hands that don't get burned. Your hands will start to be able to withstand a lot.
やつも大変だったろうな。
Oh, that's so nice that he refers back to Kobe having to do all the chores for Pirate Alvida.
うるせえな。ひょっとしてあれがあいつの仲間か？自分でやってくれ。
ああ、海よ。今日という日の出会いをありがとう。
Oh no, he saw Nami.
海賊にでも悪魔にでもなり下がれる覚悟が
今できた。
クソじじい。
いい機会だ。そいつらと一緒に海賊になっちまったらどうだ。てめえはもうこの店にはいらねえよ。
Zeff being very quick to grab this opportunity to get rid of Sanji. I know that's not quite the right word, but it is as of now. I mean, I guess he is trying to get rid of him.
そのコックに助けられ一命を取り留め、ここへ帰ってこれた。と、そういうわけか、ジン。
Is it a panther? It looks like a panther, yeah. It's a very cool design.
案内します。海上レストランバラティエ。
Don Krieg on his way to the Baratie. Oh, so fun! I really like the design and the not just the visual design, but the workings of the Baratie, with all the cooks being hardy hotheads. Though I do wonder, because Sanji said that all the waiters ran off because there's a lot of fights between the cooks and pirates and everyone else and rude customers. But how come all of the people who are like that and who respect Zeff and that type of work, how come they're all cooks and none of them wanted to be waiters? I mean, you would expect if he attracts cooks like that, surely he will also attract some people who want to be waiters, who are also like that and who can fight and who will stand up for themselves. I love how they're showing. They'll go into it more, but I already really like how they're showing this scariness of being on the ocean with no food or water, with Geen, with how emotional he got and how delicious the food tasted because he was starving, and how fucking happy it made him to finally have some food and to not be afraid to starve to death anymore. It really gives some weight to it. It also gives a lot of weight to, you know, going against food waste and having a respect for food and water as not just something we take for granted every day, because a lot of people don't have ready access to food and water every day, and it's a lot scarier for them, and it's one of those things that we do tend to take for granted, and they really show that they kind of show the weight of it and the necessity of having it and the fear when you don't have it every day. So it's really well written. They showed really well. I just want to continue watching, so I'm hopping straight into episode 22 already.
そいつらと一緒に出て行きさらせ。てめえはもうこの店にはいらねえ。
最強の海賊艦隊提督
Strongest pirate fleet,
ドン・クリーク
Commodore Don Krieg. Don Krieg's on his way.
人はすぐ面倒を起こす。女と見りゃすぐに鼻の穴膨らましやがる。ろくな料理も作れやしねえし、てめえはこの店にとってお荷物なんだと。てめえはコックどもにも煙たがられてる。海賊にでも何にでもなって早くこの店から出て行きさらせ。
他の何を差し置いても俺の料理をけなすのは許さねえぞ。
All of the other things are true, but a bad cook? How dare you? They saved all the food.
いくら追い出そうとしてもな。俺はこの店でずっとコックを続けるぞ。てめえが死ぬまでな。
俺は死なん。あと100年生きる。
Love the confidence.
お詫びにフルーツのマチェドニアを召し上がれ、お姫様。
うわーありがとう。
That then genuinely does look very nice.
あんのかこら、手加減しねえぞ。やっちまえぞ。
てめえでやれよ。
I mean, that is to be fair to Usopp. Telling Zoro to beat him up is probably the best way for Usopp to do that. Zoro wouldn't go easy on him. And Sanji is a good fighter. I don't know if he could beat Zoro in a fight though. I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe we'll see that in the future. But I do think if Usopp were to somehow convince Zoro to fight for him, Sanji would actually be in trouble.
は？
ここのお料理美味しいんだけど、私にはちょっと高いみたい。
もちろんタダで。
ありがとう。
お前ら払えよ。
わってなんだかんだとここに来てもう4日になるぜ。
4 days. Oh, okay.
いつになったら出発できんだ？
さあな。
I mean, technically they could just leave, but Luffy doesn't want to just leave and leave like a debt unpaid, I guess.
おいおい、どうしてんだよ。
So intimidating.
ドクロの両脇に敵への脅迫を示す
Our
砂時計。
okay.
あの旗印は間違いない。このイーストブルーの覇者ドン・クリークだ。
It's a big ship. Well, Geen, what's the reason you brought them here? The ship is in a state.
おい、なんだ。
ずいぶんボロっちい船に乗ってんだな。
大砲にやられたって感じでもなさそうだ。かといって人の技とも思えね
竜巻でもあったのか？
I don't quite remember what actually happened to Don Krieg to put his ship in a state like that. Oh, he's so intimidating. Such a presence.
すまん。水と飯をもらえないか。金ならある。いくらでもある。もうどれくらい食ってねえかもわからねえんだ。頼む。
あれがあの大海賊艦隊提督ドン・クリークか。
腹減ってんのか。
もう何日も何も食ってねえんだ。このままじゃ死んじまうよ。
I mean, he did kindly
こ
ask.
りゃいい傑作だ。これがあの名だたる大悪党ドン・クリークの姿だな。
Arch rogue.
何も食わせることはねえ。取り押さえとけ。
そうだ、元気になったら何されるかわかんねえ。
日頃の行いが悪いんだ。
何もしねえ。食わしてもらったらおとなしく帰ると約束する。だから頼む、助けてくれ。
あんたのすることじゃねえよ。そんな情けねえ真似しねえでく
I mean,
れ。
he is starving. I mean, coming back to what Sanji said in the first episode we saw him against Lieutenant Fullbody, can money stave off your hunger? Yeah, he's rich and he is a powerful captain, but right now he's starving, so he's begging for food. Gin saying it's not something you should do. It's kind of the point of these episodes. You can have all the power and all the money in the world. If you're starving, you're starving. If you don't have food, you will die. Does not matter how powerful you are.
道場飛行ってのかい。
おい、そこどけパティ。
サンジさん。
ほらよ、銀、そいつに食わせろ。
サンジさん。
おいサンジ、すぐにその飯を取り上げろ。てめえそいつがどういうやつだか分かってんのか。始まりは監獄から。こいつは海兵になりすまし、海軍の戦場で上官を殺してその船を乗っ取ることで海賊としてののろしを上げた。
I mean, he did earn the nickname also the most evil pirate in the East Blue, so I'm sure there's a reason for that.
白旗を振って敵船に襲いかかったり、
Raising a white flag
続
and
け
then
るために
attacking
手段を
ships.
選ばずここまで上り詰めたやつなんだ。
That kind of stuff will get you the most, a title of the most evil. Hey, plays dirty.
そんな下道は見殺しにするのが世の中のためってもんなんだよ。うわ、
Now, obviously, Don Krieg attacks Sanji here, doesn't keep his promise, and it's like Luffy said, he plays dirty. But I like that they're taking the road with Sanji, choosing to feed him anyway. Because there is definitely something to be said for, like, yeah, he plays dirty, he's gonna be dangerous, he's dangerous for everyone. It's better for everyone to let him die here, to not help him. But I guess in cases like this, Sanji just decides to do, well, the right thing, no matter the consequences. You can't just do the right thing when it's easy. it's about doing the right thing when it's hard to do the right thing and when the choice is more difficult. And the right thing here is to give food to a man who's starving. He is an evil man, so I guess there's that, but I do enjoy Sanji's refusal to stand by and let him starve. And he'll deal with the consequences afterwards.
話が違うぞドンクリーク。この店には絶対手を出さねえって条件であんたをここへ案内したんだ。それにあの男は俺たちの命の恩人なんだ。
Kuina at the very least still trying to keep to his word, though he's not succeeding very well.
一体店の中で何が起きてるんだ。
言ってみりゃわかるさ。
マジかよ。
なんだビビってんのか。
Come on, Zora, you know the answer to that. He's always scared.
いいレストランじゃねえか。この船もらうぜ。うちの船はボロボロになっちまってな。新しいのが欲しかったんだ。今船に息のある部下どもが約100人、空腹と重傷でくさばってる。あいつらの水と食料を100食分まず用意してもらおう。すでに餓死者も出ている。
この船を襲うと分かっている海賊を俺たちの手で増やせってのか。いや、断る。
俺は別に注文してるわけじゃねえ。命令してるんだ。
Little pun there.
サンジさん、サンジさん、すまねえ。俺はこんなつもりじゃ。
おいサンジ、どこへ行く。
厨房さ。あと100人分飯を用意しなきゃならねえ。
Oh my god. I love the fact that it looks like they're holding, well, it looks like they are holding giant. I think the only ones that look weird, like the ones, they are holding giant silverware. But the thing is that everything except for the knives could just be something else. Like you've got pitchforks, and the spoons could just be giant like pots or like a wok on a stick. But the giant knives look, they're really nothing, but it can't really be anything else but a giant knife. It looks so dumb.
でその先どうなるかなんて考えるのもめんどくせえ。俺はコックだ。それ以上でもそれ以下でもねえ。腹すかしてる奴がいるってんなら食わせてやる。ただそれだけだ。コックってな、それでいいんじゃねえのか。
パーティー。
おい、こいつ押さえとけ。サンジ、お前は俺が追い払った客にたまに裏口で飯をやってるよな。俺はこの店を守る。幸い敵はまだ一人。腹いっぱいになったがい、クリークさんよ。どうだい、食後に一つ。黒金のデザート食っていけ。食当たりミートボール。
I do respect that, E. That's an awesome weapon. Just pull out a fucking bazooka in the shape of a shrimp. I love it.
そいつはうめえんだろうな。ヘボコック。クソまずいデザート出しやがって。最低のレストランだぜ。
Look, Don Krieg, I get it. You just got served a very bad dessert, but if you shoot all the cooks, there's gonna be no cooks who can make the food you need for your crew. So maybe don't shoot all the cooks if you need cooks. Very cool armor though.
この俺に逆らうんじゃねえ。
誰よりも強い鋼の腕、誰よりも硬いウーツ鋼の体、そして全てを破壊するダイヤの拳、50隻の大艦隊に5000人の兵力。
50 ships and 5,000 pirates, but you're here with 1 ship and 100 men. Oh, here he is. What does Chef Zeff have to say?
100食分はあるだろう。さっさと船に運んでやれ。
ゼフだと。
Okay, so Don Krieg recognizes the name Zeff, giving us a little bit hint about Zeff's background, I guess. And I think this is the first time Zeff shows up with the food for the pirates. So I think this is the first time where we see that Zeff actually agrees with Sanji on how Sanji deals with all this. I mean, he already didn't... He clearly knew what Sanji was doing with Gin and didn't punish him for it, so we already saw that, but he didn't outwardly do or say anything that showed that he was on Sanji's side either. I think this is the first time where we see Zeff actually do something which is exactly the same as what Sanji was doing, while still in this episode trying to push Sanji away, insulting his cooking, telling him he's good for nothing, and trying to get him to join Luffy. So it's a fun dynamic. It's interesting. Love these episodes. Introduction of Commodore Don Krieg. Well, I mean, yes, Commodore of 50 ships, 5,000 pirates, but he's here with 1 ship and 100 men on the brink of death. So you can flex that really hard, but it doesn't really mean anything if they're not there to actually back you up. But we have officially gotten to the main conflict here. Obviously, Sanji is not convinced to join Luffy yet, and we don't know. We haven't learned yet about his history, about his reasoning to want to stay at the Baratie, even though it seems like he is very much at odds with all the cooks the entire time, and with Chef Zeff as well. Now. Also having Don Krieg here, who wants to take over the ship because his own ship is damaged. So this is probably gonna be, well, partly obviously Sanji and Zeff's, but also Luffy's test against the proper pirate, being the first, well, the most dangerous and most evil pirate in the East Blue, apparently. Next time, we'll continue on this little conflict between Don Krieg and the Baratie. For now, if you like this video, make sure to like, leave a comment, let me know if you have any other anime that you want me to watch, and subscribe to my channel if you want to follow along with One Piece. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!